at the 9 o'clock hour, and so I'm going to let Salaam take over the admittance of individuals and welcome everybody to the Virginia Poverty Law Center's coffee chat with Salaam Bhatti, who is our public benefits attorney. Obviously, if you're registered for today, then you know the topic is on recent improvements, recent changes in our SNAP benefits. Salaam will go over all of that with you. For those who are coming to our first coffee chat ever, just a little bit from a formatting perspective. We try our best to begin on time at 9 a.m. and we do our very best to end at 9:30. Understand everybody's calendars and days are full. So please, if the conversation is still going and you need to move on to something else, please feel free to leave at 9:30. We will be okay. We will not be offended by that. We will keep everyone on mute, not because we don't want to hear what you're saying, but it's to keep down on background noises. And there will be an opportunity after Salaam speaks to unmute yourself, ask questions. If you'd like, you can, as he's speaking, put questions in the chat and we can answer those as we go through. I think the very last thing I should make sure everybody's aware of is that this is being recorded. Afterwards, at some point today, it'll be uploaded to VPLC's YouTube channel. And I'll send out a link. And if Salaam references any materials or links or anything like that, I'll make sure all of that is in the follow-up email that I send you guys either later today or first thing tomorrow morning. And feel free to share all of that information with those who you feel would want it. So with that being said, I am now going to mute myself and turn this over to Salaam.
Hi, good morning, everybody, and thank you, Tony. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for this itty-bitty coffee chat. And I do hope you have a good cup of brew in front of you. If you're detoxing off of coffee like me, then you're going to fake it by having water in a coffee mug. So I'm there with y'all in the spirit. Enjoy that brew for me. So today we're going to talk about some changes to SNAP that are coming up and some that have already happened as well, just so that we're all on the same level of what SNAP looks like now and for the next year. So just a quick basic primer about what SNAP is to start us off. SNAP is an acronym. It stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It's the prince of the public benefits world because anytime you hear SNAP, it's always followed by formerly known as food stamps. So about a decade or so ago, the government changed the name of food stamps to SNAP because the phrase food stamps had a negative connotation with it. And so they changed it and now it's called SNAP benefits. So that's what it is. It's a program that helps our low-income neighbors help put food on the table. So it comes as an EBT card, looks like a debit card, and they can use it at grocery stores or at farmers markets. The really cool thing about using it at farmers markets, and a lot of farmers markets in Virginia, is that you can double up your SNAP benefits. So that means you get essentially like, you're spending $20 on produce. Well, you can double that up and spend $40 thanks to a grant that's been helping farmers markets be able to do that. So that's really cool, a great opportunity. A few grocery stores are starting to do the double up bucks as well, but it's only at a handful. The farmers markets is really the place to get it. So that is the basic part of SNAP. So let's go into a little bit of the nitty gritty on updates. There were a couple of changes that happened to SNAP as a result of the pandemic. One of them was the 15% increase. And secondly was the emergency allotment. So let's talk about the 15% increase. The 15% increase pretty much just increased the SNAP benefits by 15%. That was a limited, well, actually both COVID changes were limited, but the 15% increase had a narrower time limit. And that is actually ending in just 2 more days at the end of September. That 15% increase is going to go away starting in October. But the emergency allotment, which is maximizing every SNAP participant's amount so that they're receiving that maximum amount for the household, that is going to continue through the end of the year because that is when it is set to expire federally. We did have a bit of a situation earlier in the summer when Governor Northam stopped declaring the state of emergency because the emergency allotments were tied to the state having declared a state of emergency. So we were kind of in a flux where we weren't sure if we could continue to receive the emergency allotments through the end of the year, or if it would stop prematurely in June or July. Luckily, we were able to get a bunch of advocates together and put some pressure on the Department of Health to issue an alternative declaration, which the USDA, which is the governmental agency that administers SNAP, accepted and said that, yes, this does qualify as your state of emergency. And we will continue to let you dole out the maximum allotments. So that was really cool to be a part of, to lead rather, and make sure our SNAP families are still getting that maximum allotment and still bringing millions of dollars of extra revenue into the state every month, which has been helping the supply chain locally, especially. So that's really cool. So that emergency allotment situation is resolved and will continue month to month until the end of December. Now, regarding some state changes this year, a couple of things to talk about. One of the things we worked on previously, like last year or so, was the restaurant meals program. The restaurant meals program is a way for participating restaurants to provide meals to SNAP participants who are elderly, have a disability, or are experiencing homelessness. Now, it's important to recognize, I said, participating restaurants. So not just anybody participating on SNAP can walk into like Outback or Applebee's or something and try to use their SNAP benefits there. It's only going to be at participating restaurants, and you'll know it's a participating restaurant because they'll say on their window or a sign out front that says that they accept SNAP. But again, it's only for 3 classes of SNAP participants: those who are elderly, those who have a disability, or those who are homeless. So those things are important to keep in mind. And you might start seeing Subways, for example, having these signs that they say EBT now accepted. So that's a way to know that they are a participating restaurant. Another change that we saw this year was on July 1st was the SNAP expansion, which I'm sure you got a lot of emails about. And I hope you were able to, understand what we were talking about there. If not, please feel free to ask, questions when we finish up in a few minutes. So SNAP expansion, essentially, it was the largest expansion to happen to SNAP in Virginia's history, where over 25,000 more families were now eligible for SNAP. And what we did was, this is a federal option that states can elect to do. And Virginia was one of the last states to hold out and not do it. So this is something that pretty much the rest of the country has been benefiting from. And it's great that we are finally there too. And I'll show you a chart in just a minute to show you what it now looks like with the income increases and all that, because another change happened federally speaking. So I want to be able to show a chart that shows all the changes, like really easy to see. So another change that happened was through the Biden administration, where they were researching if SNAP benefits were enough to provide food for our low-income neighbors. And, spoiler alert, the research showed that the SNAP benefits were not enough. And so what they did was they increased the SNAP benefit amount. And that is, you may have heard something in the news about the Thrifty Food Plan being adjusted or being increased. The Thrifty Food Plan is essentially the math, the economics that goes into calculating whether or not enough money is being put into the SNAP benefit program. So that is a roughly 21% increase of people's SNAP benefits. Everybody across the board is going to get a 21% increase, but it's kind of like, not really, you're not going to really see it because, we have the 15% increase going away starting next month. And then we have that slightly 21% increase happening at the same time. So it's like maybe like a 6% increase you'll see in benefits, which, grand scheme of things isn't that much, especially with the maximum benefits still happening. So there's a lot of different changes to the benefits happening. So it's all like steroided out is what you could say. So let me show you let me show you a chart here of what that looks like. So you can help visualize it. Let's see here. See if I'm tech savvy for this. Share screen, and we're going to share desktop too. All right, so check it out here. The monthly gross income limit you're seeing, where it says 200% of the poverty level, that was a change that happened thanks to the SNAP expansion. So we were able to increase the gross income limit from 130% to 200%. So that's why these numbers are a lot bigger than they were before. But that's only, the gross income limit is only the first test into the SNAP program. After you're in the door, you have to have enough deductions and taxes to bring you down to 100% of the poverty level for your net income, which is why these numbers are a lot lower. So once you pass this second test, then you're in. There used to be a third test, which was the resource test. And the resource test said that if you have X amount of money in your savings account or stocks or this or that, then you are not eligible for SNAP, even if you meet the income tests. So thanks to SNAP expansion, we were able to remove the resource test entirely. So now it's just these two tests that we are seeing. So starting October 1, we're going to see this third column take into effect, with the maximum monthly SNAP benefit being this amount. So all the families in Virginia are going to be seeing this amount because we're still having the maximum benefits being given out. It'll only be in January when they start seeing a degraded amount in their SNAP benefits if they are not entitled to the maximum benefit. So again, these numbers are larger than they were in years previously, and that should help a lot of our families. And it's also important to note that SNAP benefits do roll over month to month, so people don't have to spend them all at once if they don't need to. Obviously, it's SNAP benefits at their normal levels would only last families maybe into the second or the third week of the month. So hopefully the maximum amount is able to get them through the month, and if not, leave something left over to carry on into the next one. So this is just what the income limits look like, and we'll be happy to share that as well in the email. I think we did send an email out about a week or two ago with SNAP changes, so hopefully you saw that. Next, I want to talk about improvements to our SNAP calculator. We had quite a year in terms of SNAP calculator changes, and I want to show you some of that as well. So let's go ahead and share the SNAP calculator update here. Again, this is something free to use, something that is mobile friendly, and something that is hopefully, we've designed it to be very easy to understand. So the domain is vplc.org/SNAP calculator. You can use the dash. You don't have to use the dash. We've made both available to come to the same page. So one of the improvements we made this year was we added a Spanish version of this as well. And this is not a Google translated version. This is an actual person translated the English to actual Spanish. So that was really awesome. So you can go through the whole thing in Spanish as well. And it's a great tool for both English and Spanish speakers. Hopefully we can get to more languages as well. And just a quick refresher, there's only a few questions that are required. People can put in other answers, but really it's just several questions. It takes essentially less than a minute or two to do it, and the results are instantaneous. So let's say we're in an average 3-person household, and we don't have anybody who has a disability or is over 60. Everybody's a citizen. Monthly income is $768, and we're not getting unemployment because VEC is very slow. And then you just click submit. And it says right then and there, you may be eligible for SNAP benefits. If you apply and are approved, you may receive $400 per month. And then it talks about what's going on with the pandemic and how much additional you could receive, and it may expire. So, we are lawyers, so there are some mays here. We're not the state agency, so we cannot definitely say that people are going to receive it, but it's a high bar. It's likely that they're going to be able to receive it. So one of the things you'll see here is that there's ways to apply. People can click this and apply on Common Help, or they can call us. So we debuted a new SNAP helpline to help people apply for SNAP, because the Common Help platform, as powerful as it is, as good of an idea as it is, it doesn't really work for people in rural parts of the state who don't have access to broadband internet, because also Common Help is not mobile friendly. And that is a big problem, because so many Virginians can't access it as a result. And with DSS offices being closed and transportation always being an issue as well, it really blocks a lot of people from applying. So people can call our helpline, and they leave a message with their name and their phone number and a good time to call them back. And we call them back within 24 to 48 hours. We screen them with our calculator if they haven't already screened themselves already. And then we set up an appointment to do the application together. And it takes about an hour to do the application. So we want to make sure it's a time convenient to them and help them the best that we can. And then as you go through the calculator results, if you wanted to really get into the wonkiness, why did I get this result? And it talks about what happens if you pass the gross income test, if you pass the net income test, and the asset test is here because this calculator is part of a national calculator. So there are some states that still have the asset test, but we were able to say, hey, it doesn't even matter for you, but just to let you know, you passed that as well. So that's, I guess I should say that also that this calculator is something that a nice young man named Ben Molin is helping us to manage. He's an expert coder and very savvy with this coding, and very much at the same. He has the same compassion as we do, where he wants to make tech available at a first class experience for our low income neighbors, so that they don't always feel dejected from all the clunkiness they have to experience as well. And he's going to be updating this within the next day or two, if he hasn't already. I think he may have already, to have this reflect the new October income amounts and all the tests that are going to be starting in a couple of days. So, kudos to him for doing all of this work for not just us in Virginia, but for multiple other states across the country that are also hosting this type of calculator. Now, there's this question here: does your household include someone who's 60 or older, or someone who's disabled? I said no. Now, if I click yes, there's going to be a question that pops up for monthly out-of-pocket medical expenses for household members who are age 60 or older or disabled. And this is a question that only comes up when you click yes to here, because if you click no, then it doesn't apply to you. So why have to answer a question that doesn't apply? So we wanted to make a smart calculator. Now, this is a very important deduction that is the most underutilized deduction in the SNAP program. And that's because there's a lot of medical expenses that qualify as a deduction. And so we have examples here, and we did like top to bottom. At the top, we have those that are the most, the ones that you would have most likely have. So for example, health insurance policy premiums, something pretty much everybody has. Prescription and OTC medications, pretty much everybody. So what you do is you calculate all that and you put it in, and you can get a very significant deduction, and hopefully also get you a better SNAP benefit and make you eligible too. So that's something very important to keep in mind while helping people apply for SNAP. So if you're helping somebody apply for SNAP, or if you know somebody who might be eligible for SNAP and they are over 60 or disabled, make sure you let them know about this deduction, or hey, even let them know about our helpline, 866-753-SNAP. And we are happy to field that call. Let's see. Next up, let's talk about All right. So as we close this out, just want to let you know that we do have a lot of new neighbors coming to town. It's the Afghan and Iraqi refugees who are coming, and you might be wondering if they are eligible for programs like SNAP. So yes, refugees and asylees are eligible for SNAP without time delay. They don't have to wait for a year. They don't have to wait for 5 years. They should apply as soon as possible. Humanitarian parolees, however, are not eligible for SNAP. So that's just the way it is. I'm not sure if parolees can, switch to refugee or asylee. Not an immigration lawyer, so I don't know about that. But if they could, as long as they become a refugee or a special immigrant visa holder or an asylee, then they can get SNAP without delay. I also want to add that they can also receive TANF as well, and free school meals for their children. But there's an asterisk next to free school meals, because right now every student in America is getting free school meals. So that's a great thing. And I wanted to do a shameless plug for our podcast. It's called the Justice Report, and it we have the privilege of being one of the top podcasts in Virginia. If you haven't heard about it yet, let me just show it to you on the Apple Podcasts app here. It's called the Justice Report, and we have a lot of episodes about different types of issues that keep people trapped in the cycle of poverty. And we also talk about solutions to those problems. We bring experts to the table. We bring people who are impacted by these issues as well to the table. And Jam, my co-host, and I, we have fun while we talk about this as well, because if this was super serious, we'd probably all get depressed and cynical. Although I'm not cynical enough already. Now we are at 14 ratings. So I hope that all you wonderful people who do have some sort of Apple app or something are able to, check out the Justice Report and go enjoy it, hopefully, and give us an honest rating. Hopefully that honesty is a 5-star rating. But hey, honesty is great. So make sure you check it out. Season 3 is well underway. We just talked about a child tax credit last week. Tomorrow, our next show is going to be about the guaranteed income pilot taking place in Richmond, Virginia. So a lot to talk about, a lot of things to talk about and learn about too. So subscribe, share with your family and friends, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. So that is it from me, Tony.
Yes, I'm actually gonna, if I could say the words correctly, I would have said it, Aveda. But we have about 7 minutes left, and we have lots of questions.
Cool.
So I'm gonna try and put some of them together. When we're talking about the SNAP helpline, you mentioned, and the SNAP calculator, for example, but mostly for the SNAP helpline, do you have it in Spanish? And would people who are calling be assisted in Spanish? And are there other languages? Because obviously in Virginia, more than just English and Spanish is spoken.
So thank you for asking that. Not yet. We are looking for helpline support staff who are bilingual, at least at Spanish and English level. And then as we build out, then we can see what other languages we need. But yeah, so if you know somebody who could be of help in the bilingual space, then please do shoot me an email, Salaam at VPLC.org. Let me put that in the chat here.
And just to clarify, when we call the SNAP helpline, the appointments, those are scheduled over the telephone, not via Zoom or anything like that. It's just a phone call back, right?
Yep. We want to be super low tech here.
And during the phone call, that's when people are assisted with the SNAP application, right? So it's all one and done in that 1 hour phone call.
Yep.
Fantastic. And if I'm not getting your answers for those who put it in the chat, please feel free to raise your hand. One thing, after you're approved for SNAP, Salaam, do you have to reapply, re-register every year? How long does SNAP last?
Yeah, so there are periodic reviews, and it depends on what your specific application is. It could be 6 months, could be every year. For elderly, it could be every 2 years, although we're working on getting that to every 3 years. So it just depends on what DSS puts you in under.
Right. And I think you talked a little bit about this, but what if the individual applying doesn't have legal status?
So if they don't have legal status, but their children do, then they can apply for their children. And they will not be like DSS won't flag their application and send it to like some federal agency to like come after them. There's a lot of households where it's just the children only. So definitely do take advantage of that.
And, as you were going over the SNAP calculator, what about families who have fluctuating incomes?
Yeah, so that's that is definitely a reality. That's something to keep your caseworker apprised of. So as you have fluctuating income month to month, just keep your caseworker in the know. Usually they'll provide an email address, and you can even like take pictures with your phone if you have a camera capable phone, and just email it that way instead of having to use a computer. Or find a way to make sure they're in the know. You want to leave a paper trail so that they can't come back after you and say, oh, you were given an overpayment and now you have to pay that back.
Gotcha. And then when it asks if someone in your household is disabled, does this include partially disabled veterans?
If that disability is preventing you from working, then possibly. But that is something if you have like a doctor's letter, then let the caseworker know so that they can adjust accordingly.
Sure. And I'm going to go back real quick to the document that you shared with us on the federal guidelines. Is the 200% just for those who are part of categorical eligibility?
No, everybody.
Everybody.
So, yeah, that was just an increase. So everybody can fall under that, but you still have to get to the 100% as well to get the SNAP benefits.
And there were a few people who asked about the e-newsletter that Salaam has referenced during his conversation today. And if you're not currently on VPLC's e-newsletter list, you can just go to our homepage, vplc.org, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see something like say, join e-newsletter or stay up to date. Just put your email in there. But in today's follow-up or tomorrow morning's follow-up, I will include not only the chart that Salaam has shared today, but also the email that was sent out a couple of weeks ago. Couple other questions. How do you ensure, Salaam, that you get the extra amount you talked about in the email for COVID-19 funds help for the SNAP?
So it should be coming out automatically. You don't have to apply specially for it. The way it's been rolling out through DSS this whole year is that you get your normal allotment. You get your normal benefit amount, I think, within the first few days of the month. And then the increase happens later on in the month, like I think on the 22nd or 26th. So that once you add those two together, then you see you have the maximum amount. If you're not seeing that, then do let me know, and we can get to the bottom of that.
Can people who are about to be released from prison have their eligibility for SNAP determined so that they can get the ball moving, so that they can have assistance as soon as they're released?
Yeah, so we are, I think that's from John. We are going to work on some legislation to get that streamlined so that when people are released, then they are eligible immediately, or rather let them apply while they are still in prison. And then as soon as they are released, they're already eligible and receiving SNAP so that they can, hit the ground running. So we're going to work on that for sure. Yep.
And will the SNAP benefits count against TANF benefits? Count as income, sorry.
No, SNAP benefits are it's not income per se. It's just, it's specifically for a certain thing.
Okay. So I'm going to go back up a little bit and talk a little bit about some of the SNAP issues when it comes to immigrants. For Afghans who are relocating to the area, Salaam, do people with P2 and SIV visas qualify for SNAP?
SIV, yes. I don't know what P2 is, but refugees and asylees and SIVs do qualify.
And Charlie, if you want to just raise your hand and unmute, you can maybe explain P2 if that's not answering your question fully.
Yes. Sorry.
It did.
No. Oh, yeah. P2 is just a new visa category that was created recently to help more Afghans be relocated. But yeah, I'll probably just, since it's very new, I'll probably just have to do research on my own. But thank you so much for your answer.
Yep.
And then someone else locally, she's aware of families who are being denied their SNAP benefits because the adults have no legal status, even when the children are citizens, and wonders what can be done in those cases.
Definitely reach out to your local legal aid, and they should have the public benefits attorney there take that case. And then once that case is on their docket, then I could come help those attorneys out.
Sure. I will also include the link to all the local legal aids in that email, but there's also a 800 number. Lastly, isn't Virginia looking at a waiver that lets them apply 45 days before leaving prison? We're kind of back on that prison thing. Is there already something like that on the books, Salaam?
That I don't know.
Gotcha. I think I very quickly ran through the questions that were in the chat, but I want to give a moment, even though we are ticked past the 9:30 mark, and please do be blessed and released and enjoy a wonderful day if you need to move on. But I also wanted to provide the opportunity for others to have their questions answered. Do you want to just unmute or raise your hand? And yes, for those who are asking, the chat this morning is being recorded and we posted on VPLC's YouTube channel later, and the links will be sent out.
You can also DM me on Twitter if you wanted to. My Twitter is @Salaam. Or you can ask me on TikTok @PovertyLawyer. So yeah, some other ways of contacting.
Nice. Well, I do, if as much as I would love to continue to be in communion with each of you this morning, I will let you allow us all to move forth, be productive, and continue the good work that I know all of you are doing as well. So thank you for your time this morning, and take good care.